Don't blame it on your son.
Yeah. Did you play the thing? We're live. Bo Henry. Bo Henry. Bo Henry. Where'd you go?
I'm playing the thing. It's not playing. The new format. Hey!
Stop playing.
Welcome. Don't hear me? Hear me now? What?
Yeah. I can hear you. We're here.
You can, okay, God damn it. Why are you freaking me out like that? I mean, the thing's not playing, yes, but we can talk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Dapper Baboon Show. This is Mighty episode number 15. I'm your host, the one and only Bo Henry. With me, as always, is David Casel, the budding entrepreneur slash giver of advice. The man with the plan. How's it going, bro?
Pretty good, dude. I'm doing pretty well. Having a good time. It's been a good couple of weeks. Sorry that we've had to miss a few shows, but a couple of life stuff getting in the way. We're going to get it under control, though.
Yeah, life stuff tends to get in the way a little bit, but we got a little bit more of a different tone, maybe a little bit of a different show set up. You know, a lot of stuff's gone on in the world in the last couple weeks. Some of it, a lot of it's been pretty dark.
All of
to be honest, so,
it's been awful.
Yeah, all of it's been pretty bad. So I don't know. I mean, we usually have more of a lighthearted show, and of course, this is a live show. If you're listening to us Friday, May 29th at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, this is a live show. There's a call-in number 914-205-5427, and I just want to kind of open things up to what everybody else is in the mood for. Do you need a little bit of some lightheartedness to kind of ask what's going on? You still need to vent, get everything out, basically talk about everything that's going on. We're down for whatever. Put it this way, we've been seeing everything that everybody else has been seeing and been disgusted as well. But either way, we're here for whatever you need us to be here for. Yeah, because we care.
We do care, and I have been in the mood to give some advice for a minute. I've been trying to. I read this book called The Energy Bus, and it's a book that we were supposed to read for work. Just to kind of get an idea of some of the expectation, or maybe just a different sort of viewpoint on things. And it was pretty helpful, and I think that it could apply for a lot of things. And I mean, it's a little childish. I mean, it was derivative of from a child's book, and this guy wrote a book about it, like an adult book, and applied his situations to it. It was a pretty cool book.
So, what generally was the book about?
Do you read books, Bo?
I do not know how to read. I went to Xenia schools.
So the book was about basically this guy who was having a rough time with his life. Things kept going bad. He just fighting with his wife. His job was going down the toilet. Just everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And finally he got a flat tire in the rain, and it was just like, this is it. This sucks. My life sucks. I hate my everything. And he had to take the bus to work. And he got on this bus, and the driver's name was Joy. And she noticed immediately that he was all down and shitty and was trying to be super helpful and smiling at him and stuff. And he hated her. He was like, look at this fucking cheery bitch all in my face, and everything sucks. And, it started to be like he couldn't stop thinking about her when he was at work. He was like, why does she think she could just smile at me? And this is bullshit. And finally, he got some other information. Like his car was in the shop, and he's like, man, you're lucky that your brakes or your tire went flat when it did, because actually your brakes were completely gone. And, the next, could have been any stop you went to make, you'd have had no brakes and you could have been dead. So he started to take this woman seriously, because he had to ride the bus now for a couple of weeks, or like a week, until his car was fixed. And she started teaching him the 10 rules of life, or 10 rules of life to live by. And, the first one is you're the driver of your own bus. So you have to, it's about trying to keep positive things into your life. If you're always talking about how, oh my God, I'm fighting with my wife, and now my car, and everything's my fault, and this sucks, and you're having trouble at work, you start to, it's basically about turning all that stuff around, finding energy vampires in your life, keeping yourself motivated, getting other people on your bus. If people don't want to ride your bus and everything, that's fine. They have their own bus that they can get on, but it can't take away from your energy. And he basically just used these 10 rules to completely fix his life and, made him happy.
Well, hell yeah. So how does this apply to this situation?
Well, I mean, you could make it apply in a lot of ways. I mean, if you want to do it specifically, we could do things like that. If you want to do a broad range, it's that the more that you focus on all these negative things,
is there
the more you'll
riots
see.
going on in the background there, Dave?
Yeah. And you don't, when you don't have a yellow car or something like that, you never see yellow cars. If you buy a yellow car, then all of a sudden you just see a bunch of yellow cars everywhere all of a sudden. They're just appearing out of nowhere. It's sort of like, if all we're talking about is negative things and seeing negative things, that's all we're going to focus on is negative stuff, because that's all that's on our mind.
Yeah. No, I get it. Man, it's really hard to see. I get what you're saying, and I get what you're saying with having a positive outlook and things like that. But it's really hard to see. I don't know, some of the images that we've seen over the last week. Watch some of the videos that we've seen over the last week.
Holding down an innocent man by his neck with his knee until he died. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
I cannot believe he just sat there that long and nobody did anything. I don't understand why he just kept doing that. It doesn't make sense to me. I watched the video and it's unreal. I cannot believe he's just sitting there doing that for no reason. He's not putting him in the car. He's not doing it. He's just sitting there pressing on it. And he's got his hand in his pocket, like pushing down on his leg, trying to do it harder. Like, I don't get it. Why?
Well, I don't know, man. We got a certain level of cultural dissidence. I'd like to think if I was there, I would have tackled that police officer. And I think if anybody actually thought that guy was actually going to die, I don't know. Like, I think maybe somebody would have done something. And I think probably any of those other police officers may have done something as well if they thought that guy was actually dying, which from watching it seems terribly obvious he was dying. I don't know. It's a strange position to be in. Like, somebody should have tackled him and got him off of his neck. And then what would the story have been, though? The funny thing is, though, is that if that would have happened, then, like, this would have never been a story. And if you would have tackled a police officer like that, you would be in jail. And nobody would say that you did a heroic act. You would just have charges, and nobody would even know about this.
Right. That's what doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't understand. I've never seen anyone be held down like that for that long. Why didn't he just do it, handcuff him, put him in the car? He wasn't even, like, trying to get away or fighting him at all. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I saw an article that said that police officer and that man worked security at the same place, and that the boss of that security place, or the boss that hired them, said that she had to fire that police officer because he was a piece of shit, and so they knew each other. He knew that guy.
So you're saying that the officer who killed George Floyd, and the officer, what was his name, Dave Mount, whatever the officer's name was, you're saying that those two actually worked together?
George Henry.
Yeah, the guy who died's name was George Floyd. I just don't remember the officer's name. So what you're saying is that those two had previously worked together as security guards at a place?
Yes, they were co-workers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is these guys probably knew each other. And it may be even more heinous than we.
They both knew each other.
That's crazy. Because Minneapolis,
I feel like
is a
that
big
was
city.
the point. I think he killed him on purpose.
Yeah. See, I don't know. It's so weird because, people talk about the whole good cop, bad cop thing. There's good cops and there's bad cops. And a lot of times, what I've said is I think that there's I like to not put morality into it, like good and bad. We use that term good and bad too easily and nobody has the same fucking definition of what good and bad means. But generally speaking, you can have an interaction with a police officer that is, a positive, one, or everybody's had experiences. They ran into a cop and the cop was super cool about something or whatever, let him go, And I think we've all had experiences where we've ran into police officers and it was not that way and they were a dick and it was just, it was obvious this person was, exerting their authority and basically do what I say or do it this way because, you have to and I'm a police officer. And that's what I wonder with the whole thing. It's so weird. It's we all experience that. So we've all experienced a police officer, throwing around his authority and he's going to do this because he can, or he's, or I'm saying he, it could be she, whatever. But I just imagine with how much more that is and how much more that's amplified when you bring race into the conversation.
I don't know. I feel like it's a rough deal for women cops. There are all different kinds of those cops too. There's the slutty ones that fuck people. There's the really super serious ones that take it very serious and want to be good cops and need to prove themselves that they're just as good of a cop as a man is. And there's also the kind that are just kind of very timid and they let the men kind of take over and be in charge and they just sort of give them back up, or they're there to, because they need to pat the women down because men can't. And, there's so many different kinds of cops. There really is.
Right. So what base is that off of? You kind of took us in a weird direction. So he wasn't talking necessarily about that. I just kind of threw out on the side, we could be talking about women and stuff. And you use that to go into there's all types of women cops. They got a hard deal. There's the slutty ones that fuck everybody, and then there's the good ones who are trying really hard to prove that they're just as good as the men cops and this, that, and the other. What factual basis are you basing this information off of? Where are these slutty cops going around fucking everybody, or is these just porns you've been watching?
No, I've seen a scandal, a story where this female officer was just fucking people and recording herself doing it, and